Alright, hi, my name is Jesse, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience at EPC. So when I first got there, I I was strapped to a table, um, stripped of all my clothes except for my underwear, and sedated with needles and everything. Who knows what drugs? But when I finally got registered into there, I heard the place was run like, if not worse than a prison. To give you a visual picture or a verbal picture, the the place was surrounded by a fence, but not like a small fence. No, I'm talking like almost the size of a house. At least that's how I picture it. That's how it looked to me at the time, because I was small. But still, it's basically you can't get over the fence, a metal fence. No one can get in without a swipe card or without ringing the doorbell and then talking to a person, and they have to let you in. So, and if there's a, and there was a few times where someone did try to leave, or or escape or whatever, and they tried to climb over the fence. The staff dragged him down and sedated him and dragged him off to, I don't know. So I don't know how it is nowadays, but while I was in there at least, they had what we referred to it as, I'm not sure what it's officially called, if not, I think this is what it was called, but I don't know. But they were called cards. It was basically a list, or I don't know. It was basically a piece of paper that had your activities or whatever you're doing that day, and how you're doing it, a goal, basically every movement you ever did. And I remember there was a tier system. Like, the basic one was white, I think the next one was blue. And each time your card leveled up a rank, you'd have to get signed. Yeah, you'd have to get it signed by a few different staff and higher ups, saying, "Hey, I'm good," aka I'm submissive. I do whatever you tell me to do. Let's if you ever want to call your family, you had to ask a staff member, of course, and then they'd direct you to then they take you to a landline phone in the building, and then you could only make, I think, up to 2 or 3 calls a day. But I remember that you watch you the whole time while you were on the call, so I'd call, and then one person being with that, then while they weren't looking, dial in a new number to other family members until I got found out, and then they yelled at me and kept a closer eye, because God forbid I ever called my family. And heaven forbid you ever went out of line. First they'd put you in this room where has a window, but of course all the windows, it was barred and really tough glass, so you couldn't break it or whatever. But it had a rug, and then and a door that could be shut but not locked. But of course, whenever I was in there and I wanted to get out, they'd block me in. And if I didn't calm down, which how would I calm down if I was locked in a room that I didn't want to be in? But if I didn't calm down at that point, they would take me out of that room, and right next door was another room, a room with an even smaller window, I'd be as surprised if it was as big as a laptop screen. But it was way up high, and the rest of the room was padded, and the door I think was locked, or at least I couldn't get out. But then, to make matters worse, the staff at the time, while I was there, I remember the guy was like, calm down or whatever. I was screaming no, because I was a kid. And, and something that would have probably helped me calm down was him not just stare at me. And I had even said, stop looking at me. But instead of him thinking, there's nothing in there for him to hurt himself or others, because no one else in there, I'll just look away as I'm holding the door or stand by the door. But no, he instead chose to, for whatever sick reason, to look at me. And even when I went underneath the door, I'd look up from time to time and he'd be doing this. Looking down right at me. Just to piss me off. And then if you're still not calm at that point, what they'd do is they'd ring up a doctor. They'd come into your room, or they'd come into the room, padded room. They'd come into the padded room, hold you down to where you can't move, flip you over, because most of the time whenever you're held down not getting a shot, you're held down like this. But no, they'd flip you over, pull your pants and underwear down, rub like a little alcohol on it, and then administer a shot. And within, I'd say, at least a minute, you'd be so drugged to that point where you'd basically fall asleep. And then for the next few days you couldn't sleep, or at least I couldn't sleep. At least very well, if any. Because there was a shot in my butt and it hurt like fucking hell. I even remember one time I gotten drugged, I was asleep after the fact. And then my aunt came to see me. I woke up, I was like, no, I want to go see her. I was talking with her and all of a sudden I was like, and I fell, slammed my head straight onto the hard floor. She went to go get someone because she thought I had a seizure. But no. So I missed out on an opportunity to talk with her. One of the rare chances I got. And so eventually, long after I was adopted, I did some research into this place. And I looked up a news story. And the news story said they were struggling financially. Then I saw that it was posted almost a year ago at that point. So then I looked into it further. They were now getting money from the government. And now I have a theory on why that is. So basically, when I finally got out of Elmira Psychiatric Center, E.p.c., I'd gone to this place called Connor's, which was an abusive place of itself, but I've told that story before. But the reason I'm bringing Connor's up is not only because it was a horrible place that they sent me to, but the main reason is because when I was leaving Connor's, they wanted to keep me for longer. But it just so happened my paperwork needed to be done by the government, and they thought it was too much hassle than it was worth, so they let me go home with my parents. But the reason they wanted to keep me was because they were getting checks from the government, and to take care of me, feed me, clothe me, all that stuff. They were most likely doing the bare minimum and then cashing the check, and they were cashing what was left of the check into their own bank accounts. So I suspect that's what they were doing here at E.p.c. too. And now they're just getting more money from the government. So either The government looked into EPC, saw all the stuff they were doing, and they're like, nah, that's fine. They don't really care. It's not their problem. Who gives a shit? Or they just didn't look into it at all and they're like, here, shut up and take my money. So yeah, that was my story about EPC. But now here's one of my friends that also had a horrible time there, and debatably I think even worse because of what she says. But I'll let her explain that now. Hello. Um, just say whatever you want to say about EPC. Elmira
Okay,
Psychiatric Center.
all right, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
So my name is Ariana, and 11 years ago, I was put in a psychiatric center at Elmira Psych Center in Elmira, New York. And what they did to me was pretty bad. And I was sexually assaulted, I was physically assaulted, and they would sedate me against my will. They would beat me up, and so, like sexual assault. They would rape me, and pretty much that's it.
All right, and um, they said they restrained you on the table, right?
Yes, and they put me in a restraint, all while that was going on.
Yeah. So how did that affect you? Like, how did that affect you mentally, and then how does it affect you mentally today? If you want to say.
Okay, so that affected me mentally. Turns out I would sooner or later deal with PTSD, anxiety, depression, and today it mentally affects me with nightmares, sleep paralysis, trauma, PTSD symptoms such as flashbacks and such.
And also you also have suicidal thoughts because of it, right?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say about it, or to the
No,
people?
other than that it was a bad place, and I'm praying that it doesn't happen to anyone else. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Ari. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being so strong. I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye.